Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Wadash. And of course, I want to say Shalom to Yakmanakwath out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled, Don't Let That Mouth Write That Check, which of course is a reference to a famous idiom or saying, don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash. So let me go ahead real quick, and I gotta send a video over. Hold up just 1 minute. Lord willing, I can get it. My phone's on 1%. If it dies, then it's gonna be a pain in the ass. So let me see if I can get it here. Bear with me. Should have sent it earlier. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I got it. It's sent. Let me go and pull it up. Hold up 1 minute. Alright, slack for that. I should have had that been done. Slack it. Sometimes I forget to do that. I try not to. Anyway, here's the video. It's from Two Cops, One Donut. And it says, this is one of those moments where the internet is going to, well, so I can learn from the top. I didn't see this part. It says, was this justified or did it go too far? This is one of those moments where the internet is going to split in half. Legally, the question is not whether it looks scary. The question is whether the person reasonably believed they were facing an imminent threat of serious harm. Tactically, the question is different. Just because you can do something, does that mean it was the best decision? You decide. And I like this thinking point right here. Right? Just because you can do something doesn't mean it was the best decision. Why did I say decision like that? You decide. And that's really what this lesson's about, all right? Being that the lesson title is Don't Let That Mouth Write That Check. And that's something we gotta make sure we gotta moderate ourselves. Okay, we gotta be our own moderators. Okay, what is moderate? Okay, moderate means staying within reasonable limits and avoiding extremes. It can describe an average amount, a non-extreme political view, or the act of controlling a discussion. So that's moderating something. Or, for example, you'll have a moderator on Reddit, or you'll have a moderator on Discord, or you'll have a moderator on YouTube, on the YouTube live streams. You'll have a moderator that'll moderate the situation. If some, see the brothers that have them, they'll have other brothers on the live stream moderating, making sure if someone comes saying some crazy shit, if a wild vocab Malone pops up, gets them right off there, sends them their way. Well, they'll be able to watch the video, but they won't be able to comment anymore. And you can, set specific times that, you can either block them, ban them, or you can mute them or time them out for a time being, right? So we have to be that to ourselves, right? We have to make sure that in order to make sure we're serving Yahweh Shai Shai within our best ability, we need to make sure we're moderating ourselves, making sure we're staying within reasonable limits. All right, we're not going too far of any which way. Maintaining a correct balance, because a false balance is an abomination of the Lord, right? As the scriptures say. So you don't want to be so hot on fire that you have a Paul moment where he sliced the was it a centurion? Simon Peter, not Paul. It says cutting. So it was It says looks like you might mean Simon Peter rather than Paul. Yep, that's my bad. That's why I wanted to look it up. Cutting off the ear of the high priest servant Malchus during the arrest of Yahushua in the Garden of Gethsemane. All right. Who did it? Simon Peter. Whose ear was cut? Malchus. Where it happened? Garden of Gethsemane. The weapon, a sword. The result, Yahushua rebuked Peter, told him to put away his sword, and immediately healed the servant's ear. But why did he do it? Why did he do it? Well, because he was overzealous, right? He was too far right. Okay, that's the thing. You can go too far left, but you can't go too far right. You can go too far right where you become over righteous and overzealous. All right. And to be fair, it's easier to come back from being overzealous than it is from being unrighteous and wicked, right? It's easier to come back from that because, if you're wicked, if you go down to that point of wickedness, you're down in the dirt, man. Usually a brother, if you're getting a little overzealous, they can say, hey, man, calm it down, step back, right? That's what happened with Peter, all right? Yahushua rebuked him and said, hey, put that sword away. But when you go off the deep end and you start, leaning left and you start getting into the, Satan's domain, right? Little trickeries that Satan tries to use to, lead you away. Really, it's, Yahweh's test. It becomes harder for someone to pull you back from that. Really, it's only the Lord that can pull you back either way. But, it's harder that way. Not saying it's good either way because both are bad, but it's easier to, return. It's like a flat tire is easier to repair than a broken engine, all right? So, I mean, they're both bad situations, but one is easier to, make a comeback from. But anyway, let's go see what it says. Let's see what it has to say. Why did Peter do that? It should say because he was over-righteous, right? Or righteous. He was zealous, all right, filled with zeal. It says... and there is, minor, I won't say minor, but there are, differences between over-righteous and overzealous. Okay, overzealous is, it's similar to over. Matter of fact, let's see what the breakdown has it. What's the difference between over-righteous and over-zealous? Over righteous is really it really gets into a different thing, and the scripture actually say, let's go and get it. Be not righteous over much. It's Ecclesiastes rather, 7:16 through 18. It says, be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldst thou destroy thyself? You're starting to get that IUIC spirit, right? That you can save yourself through the justification. You justify yourself through the keeping of the commandments, and that's just not true. And they'll try to deny it over and over and over again, but everything they say, when you hear them speak, their mouth is testimony against them, right? Essentially, they say we don't just do that, we don't teach that. Well, your mouth is complicit against you, because we can go back and watch your videos and hear exactly what you said, and what are you going to say to that? Okay, you can't say you didn't say that. You can't say that that's not what you meant. Right? Because you were in this video saying, the laws and this and that. With IUIC, they try to always do that. What they do is what IUIC has a tendency of doing is they'll say something, GMS or a part of the, I don't want to say part of the body, part of the House of David, all right, GMS, and then of course those that learn from GMS and those that teach in the same way as GMS, and have those men as their teachers. One of us says something, whether it's GMS or the ones that give honors to those men, all right, the elders. Which again, we don't, some of us don't say it in the video. I don't say it in the beginning because again, it was a decree that was put out quite a while ago by the Apostle Dahar. Same thing with the no affiliate camp. You can still teach in the same style, but they don't want to have, they basically don't want to have to be running double checks on affiliates, because there was a lot of affiliates that were calling themselves, there was a lot of individuals rather that were calling themselves affiliates that really weren't affiliated at all, because they were just doing their own thing, and they could just add little bits of their own doctrine in. But anyway, where was I going with it? Man, see, I talked too much. I lost my train of thought. But, anytime that one of us, whether it be GMS or those that are teaching like GMS, bring it up, they'll say, oh, that's not what we meant. That's not what we meant. That's not what we meant. Well, your mouth has already been a witness against you. We have the clip, all right? And that's why, we can pull an IUIC on you. Bring up the clip. Bring up the clip. IT, bring up the clip. We can do that, all right? Except we don't have to have an IT guy to be an asshole against, right? We can just do it ourselves, okay? Yeah, I'm calling it out because the guy, Bishop Nathaniel, he's an asshole when it comes to that. He's just over here just, where is it at? I need to know who to yell at. Come on, man. You gave the guy, 3 seconds to pull the clip up? Good Lord, man. Have some mercy. Have some mercy. Good Lord. All right? You see the apostles when they're out teaching on the highways and byways, and, say, hey, bring that up, brother. All right? They'll give them, a little bit, and then say, hey, what's going on? You struggling? You find it? What's going on, man? All right, so, I can't find it. I'm like, oh, all right. We'll come back to it or something. Or sometimes, they'll have the spirit on them. They'll be hot, and, they might get a little bit, like, hey, man, come on, man, bring it up. But they aren't assholes about it, right? Anyway, but that's a topic. I've already mentioned that. That's a topic for another day. The whole camp over there, IUIC, is just off. They're off in multiple different ways. But anyway, you can't justify yourself to the law, so you don't want to be in that IUIC spirit, thinking where you're trying to be over righteous. All right, where you think that's over righteousness. Overzealous is a little bit different. You're so willing to serve the Lord that you get a little ahead of yourself. And that's why it's a little bit different than over righteousness. Over righteousness is really from a lack of good understanding. All right, it's a lack of good baseline understanding. Overzealous can happen to really anybody. I mean, anybody could start falling a little bit into over righteousness, and you got to watch yourself and moderate yourself. But overzealous is one that I believe is it's easier to fall into being overzealous. You're so eager to defend the Lord, or you're so eager to do something, you might get a little ahead of yourself. You might get a little overly heated. You might, different things that can happen, but it's not quite over righteousness. It's similar, but it's not the same. All right, see? It says over righteous means acting morally superior or falsely pure. All right, over righteous. Oh, we keep all the laws. All right, or falsely pure. We keep all of them. No, because I guarantee your clothes is a mixed fabric here in Babylon. So you're already guilty of all the sins, because as we got in the recent, it might have been yesterday's lesson. If you're guilty of one sin, you're guilty of them all. If you broke one law, you've broken them all. Right? So, because that's the law, is you're not supposed to break it. All right. So you and a murderer, say if you ate a piece of pork and a murderer, you're on the same wavelength when it comes to the baseline. You both sinned. You both broke a law. Now, is eating a pork and murder exactly the same thing? No. All right. But you shouldn't be doing either. And both are classified as sin. All right. And both are worthy of death. Okay. That's just how it goes. So once you understand that, you'll understand a lot more when it comes to the dietary laws, as well as the laws. All right, is that the fact is that you're not supposed to be breaking them. All right, from the if you want to call it the most minute law, which it really isn't. All right, because they're all important, or else they wouldn't be there. To the most strongly rooted law, it doesn't matter. All right, at the end of the day, if you broke one, you broke one. You did the action of breaking a law. Now, some of them might be a little bit more extreme as far as the things that you did, but the action of breaking a law was done regardless, and that was what you were not supposed to do. You had a foolish thought, shouldn't have been doing that. Now, that's something we can't really control. We can control not willingly, and that's why we say keep the law to the best of our ability. All right, and that came from the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Keeping the law to the best of our ability, because we can only do the best of our ability. The best of my ability is if I go out, and say I have to eat some goy slop, right, because I'm at work or whatever. I have to go and eat a burger. Where is it? It's one of the places I go. There's a burger. It has on the menu, it has bacon on that item, and I just say, hey, when I order it, I say no bacon on that. And then I don't get any tomato, because tomato fucks me up. And then I usually don't do lettuce, because I ain't trying to risk that fucking blow-ass parasite right now, because everything's all fucked up in Babylon. They got that fucking blow-ass parasite. They're saying not to eat the goddamn eggs, which is fine with me. If you, brother, at the end of the day, if you got Yahweh Shemel Shai, you got Yahweh Shemel Shai. But I don't really like eggs regardless. I've never been a big fan of eggs. I don't know. They have this eggy taste. I don't know. I just don't like them. I liked eggnog, right? But What else? What else? I like egg and cakes and shit when they cook it in and stuff, but I don't like just eating an egg. I'll do it if I'm hungry, but I'm not a big fan of the flavor, no matter how much you season it. Certain omelets are all right, but that's the egregious amount of cheese that really helps it, or generous amount of cheese rather. But so yeah, that's the difference. Over-righteous is acting, our laws, the statutes, and the commandments. That's the IUIC spirit. That's over-righteous. Overzealous means having too much intense energy or excitement for a cause. So I won't say they're really not even too similar, but I could see how, they're loosely closely related. Okay, but not yes and no, right? For example, over-righteous person judges others for breaking rules, when they themselves can't even keep them perfectly. It says, whereas a overzealous person goes too far in pushing into an activity or a goal. So that's the difference. Peter was overly zealous with protecting Yahushai. Okay, and he did not like but Yahushua had to go through that. He had to go through that, and he knew he had to go through that ultimately. But, Peter didn't want it, so he sliced the guy's ear off, and Yahushua had to rebuke him and say, hey, look, that's not what we're doing. That's not exactly what he said, but so it's just one of those things. You want to make sure that we're moderating ourselves, because you don't want to get overzealous either. Like I said, it's better to be overzealous than overrighteous, but either one you don't want to be. You don't want to be either, because both are bad. But like I said, it's easier to take a step back from being overzealous, because you're just pushing a little too far. You're going a little too far, to an extreme of. But it's not over-righteous. Over-righteousness really comes from pride. Okay, over-righteousness is really synonymous with pride. Thinking you're, superior, like you can do, I'm so righteous, I'm so righteous, right? Having gold chairs, gold thrones, see where I'm going at? That type shit. That's over-righteousness, okay? Acting like you're better than everybody, okay? Or that you're on some crazy different level better than everybody. I mean, you look at the Apostle Tahar, all right, and the Apostle Gabar, all right, and the Apostle Ramallah, right? You look at the apostles, all of them, and they don't. I mean, we'll start with Apostle Tahar, because he's the head apostle. He doesn't lord himself over. I mean, yes, he is in a position of authority, all right, and in leadership, all right, through Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Yahweh Shem Yahushai put him in that place over the other apostles, and and everybody, all right, the elders, the brothers, who comes in, comes out, it's all moderated. He moderates that, and of course Yahweh Shem Yahushai moderates him, and he moderates himself. There's a lot of moderation that goes on, but he does not act like, and he's been in the truth longer than Bishop Nathaniel, and he does not act like Bishop Nathaniel. He does not have that disdainful over righteousness, acting more morally superior. Yet, this man has been titled a walking Bible, because he has that much information and can pull scriptures like that. And he's not like that. So what gives an individual that was a student, all right, in One West, that was not on, in all intents and purposes, was not on the same level, and still is not on the same level as Apostle Tahar, the right to act the way he does, all right, wearing Power Ranger armor and gold thrones. You say, you're making fun of me. Yes, it's ridiculous. Okay, first of all, that's not what a biblical garment looked like. Okay, that's not a biblical garment. That's a set piece. That's set dressing. Okay, there might have been certain more heavily adorned garments, all right, but a lot of that shit that you're wearing is just completely just ridiculous. It's theatrics. It's a theater outfit. Okay, it's not. First of all, the apostles, in the old days, it was mostly sackcloth. Okay, it's a very itchy and uncomfortable material. So, and then for regular garments worn now, a lot of it's just cotton garments. Just regular, nothing. And they'll have endorsements and, certain things on them, like they might have a lion, or it might, have some, gold edging along the the neckline and some other stuff like that. But other than that, there might be some, nice patterns and stuff, but it's not like the pauldrons and the bracers and I mean, I don't even know if the problem is, I don't think you guys do it, but I can't even remember if you guys wear knee pads. That's the problem. It doesn't look as such. But things like this is like it's like a fantasy armor. Right? It's like a fantasy armor. It's like it looks like a World of Warcraft tier set. If we go back to like tier 1, let's go back to because now you got this. Let's go to WoW Classic, or let's go to WoW Mage tier sets, Mr. Pandaria. Actually, we'll go from acquired level. Probably we'll just start with 50. Or actually, we'll start with 30 at least, because what was base? What was base in vanilla? Was it 30? It was 30 max? It might have been 30. But anyway, let me show you. It looks like, actually, instead of mage, probably priest. Let me get a male. This is what some of this stuff reminds me of, man. It really, and I'm not taking the piss, as the English say. I'm being honest. This is what, like, it brings this to mind. And this is all from just MOP, Mr. Pandaria. Let's see. There's other outfits I'm trying to think of. Basically like stuff like this, man. This is the type of stuff that it reminds me of. This is like, or like, maybe not even that high of a level, because if you go down to, watch, if you go and get, like 1 through 5, these are item sets. So let's just go to priest database. Man, I'm not used to this page. 1 minute. I haven't used this in a minute. Outfits. Okay, so gear sets. Mage. We'll go with priest, human priest. I can't remember how to do this shit. I can't even find the one I'm looking for. It's like a lower, like some of the starting armor. A little bit like stuff like this, is really what it's reminding me of. I mean, you can make an outfit like that, like, no problem, all right, in World of Warcraft, and it's just, and that's what it is. It invokes, it's theater, okay? It's theater, and that's what it is. It's theatrics, and it's because their doctrine isn't good enough to get people in organically through Yahweh Shemau Shai. So they have to coerce people, all right, to come in, and this is just turned into an IUIC lesson. But this is turned into just me getting on the getting what over righteousness and righteousness is. Over righteousness, and overzealous. So hell, how long have I been going? About 25 minutes. Maybe we'll just, maybe I'll just save this lesson for tomorrow. This one that I got in my hand. Maybe we'll just go into overzealousness. I thought we were gonna go into something different, but yeah, man. That's what it looks like. Actually, no. We'll just get back on topic. We'll get back on topic. A little bit of mini lesson. All right, a mini lesson. Maybe I'll put that into the title, like / overzealousness. But anyway, that's not something we should be doing. We shouldn't be being overzealous. And ultimately, we have to, cycling back in, to moderate ourselves, making sure that we are staying within reasonable limits, okay? And in this truth, not being overzealous, not being overrighteous. And if we find ourselves doing that, to take a step back and examine ourselves. That's why we examine yourselves daily. Examine the 2 Corinthians 3 and 5. It says 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Again, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahushua is in you, except ye be reprobates. But I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. So you got to examine yourself, making sure you're not a reprobate, right? Making sure you're not, all messed up, right? So if we define what a reprobate is, reprobate means an unprincipled, wicked, or depraved person. So we're checking ourselves, all right? We're making sure. We're making a list. We're checking it twice. We're going to try to find out if we're naughty or nice, right? We're trying to find out if, because Yahushua is coming to destroy Babylon, right? That's what he's going to do, all right? Instead of that fucked up Christmas song, all right? There, I turned it. That's what Yahushua is going to do. He's going to come back and destroy Babylon. But while we're doing that, all right, that's why I turned that in at the end of that little song, all right, the dove hour, right? Because it says, what manner of persons you ought to be. This is 2 Peter 3 and 11. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So that's why I added that in that little, instead of Santa Claus is coming to town, Yahushua is coming to destroy Babylon. So we got to find out if we're naughty or nice. Well, really, at the end of the day, we don't really know whether we're quote unquote naughty or nice, either wicked or truly spiritually pure in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Of course, no one's, completely, free of having done something wrong, but the elect are going to be viewed as guiltless in the eyes of the Lord and not taste of death because of that, all right, because they were chosen before the foundation of the earth. That's how we're really going to know, but we have to make sure, as far as we know, that make sure we're behaving more. I don't even want to say nice, because nice means foolish, but according to the song naughty or nice, we want to be on the nice list, all right, not the naughty list, all right? As remember that bullshit that they used to tell you when you were a kid, Santa Claus is going to get you on a naughty or nice list. That shit was bullshit, right? Just a bunch of planned lying to the children is what it was. But we want to make sure we're on that nice list, not that naughty list, because when Yahushua comes to town, all right, anybody that's on that naughty list is getting whacked the fuck out, all right, as the mob would say. He's going to whack them, Vinny, all right? They're going to get whacked, all right, which means they're going to be killed, all right, in one manner or another, whether it's the nuclear fire, whether it's the race war, whether it's the starving to death, whether it's the being killed with wild beasts, whether it's being blasted down with the chariots. Well, there's a million ways to die. Choose one, right? As the old song used to say. So you got to make sure you're on the right, and you have to examine yourselves, okay? Because we don't want to be reprobates. That's part of moderating ourselves again. So again, 2 Peter 3 and 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, knowing that Yahushua is going to come back and destroy these things, and all the wicked people and sinners are going to be destroyed. How should you be behaving, right? What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? How are you going to behave? Okay, so going back to 2 Corinthians 13 and 5, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Okay, prove your own selves. Then of course there's more, but Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua is in you, except ye be reprobates. But, as it says, I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates, so we're not wicked. Okay, but we have to moderate ourselves. And with that, that's where we're going to play this video. We got to moderate, making sure we're staying within reasonable limits in everything we do, in the work that we do, the walk that we're doing, and handling ourselves when we're out and about in the world, man, because these people are nutty. They're crazy. Okay, they're crazy. They're just nuts. And then you don't want to do something stupid. And if someone else does something stupid, you don't want to act, stupider, all right, dumber, in a more moronic fashion, and make the situation worse than it's got to be. Okay, you don't want to do that either. So I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna commentate on it. Really, or already have. So here you go.
I got you.
Give me your hands! Give me your hands right now!
All right, the question was brought up. Did this man have a right to pull a weapon?
I said what?
What's up? What's up with you?
Why you run up on me like that?
No, fuck you. Don't fucking come with doing the bullshit.
You literally ran around the corner at me.
Fuck you. I'm walking by. You said what's up?
I said what's up?
What's up?
Back up, dog.
What's up, cuz?
Back the fuck up.
No, what's up? I got you.
Give me your hands! Give me your hands right now! Show me your fucking hands! I will shoot you so fast, dude. Do not fucking do that shit. I will shoot you.
He's not a cop. The other dude didn't have a gun. Education-wise, legally speaking, can this person pull a weapon? 100%.
Yep,
Cops,
100%.
this is the same justification as it would be for you as a citizen. It's easy to articulate. You had a confrontation with somebody. That person made a motion that made you reasonably fear for your safety. I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, you have a reasonable assumption he was reaching for something, and the way he was acting, the way he came up on you. First of all, he ran up on you, outside of that building. All right, you don't know this guy's intentions. You don't know what he has on you. He's acting hostile. You've told him to back up. You've told him to, move, get out of here. Why are you back? Why are you coming up like this on me? The guy is approaching you and says, "Oh, I got something." Reaches in the back. That's a reasonable assumption that guy is, he's basically threatening you. And then you also have the reasonable suspicion that he's going to make good on that threat. Okay, not a lawyer at the end of the day, but that's usually how it works. So, and why is that important? Because if you were to do something like that, you were to get all in your feelings, and you weren't moderating yourself, and you weren't behaving as unto the way that Yahushua would want you to, you could be on that guy's. That guy could have blew him down, and that if that was you, you could have got blown down doing something stupid like that. That's dumb. Moronic. I can't even express how dumb that shit was. Okay? It's just dumb. It's just stupid. Alright?
To say that he had imminent fear of
See, look.
bodily injury or death because this guy made a motion like he was about to draw a firearm. And unfortunately for Cracky McGee out there, Quick Draw McGraw was a lot faster. This is what good training does. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know where this video came from, so I wish I could give him credit. But that's a guy that trains. That was a very fast draw. He's got a very nice weapon. He's got a red dot system on it. Love it. And he has a lot of self-control, as you can tell. Could he have legally just started firing? 100%. But this is where cultural differences really start to come into play. I want to know what you guys think out there. Do you guys think it was justified to pull a gun?
You're watching DTV, the donut.
I got you.
That's what it was. Okay, I was hurt. Where did I hear this from? I believe it was Easy E's, Only If You Want It. Right? Yep. What was the exact lyric? He said, yeah, Quick Draw McGraw. But he didn't write that song because he never wrote his lyrics. So it's probably I don't know who was writing this shit at the time, but anyway. Yeah, man, so this is a good example of this guy was going to let his mouth write a check that his ass couldn't cash. Because he didn't even have a gun. Okay? He's just, I don't even know what this guy is. I don't even know what he is. Looks like some type of Mexican Asian. I don't even know what this guy could possibly be. But just on dumb shit. And look how his expression changed, man. That was my favorite takeaway from this video, was that he knew that he done fucked up. All right, look, he's already, look, watch. Let's examine the situation. Runs up out of nowhere trying to be tough. Gets up all up in his face.
What's up with you?
What's up with you?
Why you run up on me like that?
Nah, fuck you. Don't fucking come with doing the bullshit.
You literally...
Looks, so he sounds Mexican, but he looks like Asian Native American in the face at the same time.
He ran around the corner at me.
Fuck you. I'm walking by. You said what's up?
So he ran up all on him, and then, you know, presses him for being where he's at when he ran up on him.
I said, what's up? Back up, dog.
What's up, cuz?
Back the fuck.
He says, "What's up, cuz?" Like he's gonna bang on him. All right, this guy ain't no crip. All right, this guy ain't no crip. Hell no, no, not this guy.
Fuck up.
No, what's up? I got you.
Give me your hands. Give me your hands right now. Show me your fucking hands. I will shoot you so fast, dude. Do not fucking do that shit. I will shoot you.
He's not a cop. The other dude didn't have a gun. Education-wise, legally speaking, can this person pull a weapon? 100%.
Yeah, it's true. So with that, we're hopping over to Proverbs 20 and actually yeah, you know, this is actually, I have this halfway down through my list, but we'll get it right now because I was like debating. I was like, you know, yeah, we'll get it right now because it fits. All right, it fits. So this is Proverbs 20 and 3, and the King James Version, it says, "It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling." So what is strife? Okay, strife is really, at the end of the day, it's causing issues. All right, the simplest meaning, it's causing issues. Right? It says strife is a bitter, heated, violent conflict, struggle, or disagreement. So it can be a conflict, a struggle, a disagreement between people or groups. Okay, long-running discord, which is, you know, animosity and issues with one another. Arguments, rivalry, rather than a simple disagreement, strife. All right, so it can either be a long-term with those with an individual, or it can be a series of heated and conflicts that you have with a multitude of groups. You're just in strife. All right, you're just a person of strife. So there's that. It says, "But every fool." So it's an honor for a man to cease from strife. So it's honorable and smart for a man to not be like that, right? But every fool, all right, every moron, every dumbass will be meddling, all right, getting involved in shit that he shouldn't really be involved in. And really, the first time I heard the word meddling or learned about meddling is from what? What is it, everybody? What's your first thing that comes to your mind? I know mine's Scooby-Doo, and we would have gotten away from it if it wasn't for these meddling kids and that stupid dog. Right? So that's where I learned it from. Meddling, you know, and getting yourself involved in some shit that either one, ain't none of your business, or two, you shouldn't be having any dealings with in the first place. So going back to it, I really like the Amp Bible for this version. It says, "It is an honor for a man to keep away from strife by handling situations with thoughtful foresight, but any fool will start a quarrel without regard for the consequences." I love that. I love the way it breaks it down. You know, somebody that is smart, all right, an honorable person, really a righteous person at the end of the day, or someone who's, you know, pursuing righteousness, is going to handle a situation with thought, all right, with foresight, thinking about what could happen before those things happen. That's foresight, okay? But having an idea of what's going to take place before it happens, foresight, before sight, seeing something before it happens, right? Foresight. So they say, oh, well, if I get in here, what if, okay, for example, I've gotten that situations, you know, and there's certain situations where I've had some guy disrespect me or disrespect my wife that I, you know, in a way that I didn't like. But being that I'm in a big city, all right, Vegas, I have to have the foresight, okay, I got disrespected, whatever, all right, I'm not that much of an egoist that I got to protect my pride, because I don't have much of it, all right, I'm just like, okay, whatever, you know, I'd rather be thought of a bitch and be alive than thought of a hero and dead, right? So, oh, this guy, he was a hero, man. He jumped to the rescue for that random female he didn't know. No, I'd rather just be alive. It's ridiculous. It was a stupid situation, right? Why would you get yourself involved in that? So I think about those situations. This guy might have a gun on him. This guy might be fucking completely nuts. This guy might be, look small, but he might be able to throw some blows like a motherfucker, right? You got to think about those things. But a fool, like it says, but any fool will start a quarrel, a fight, all right, without regard for the consequences. He's not going to think that person might have a gun. That person might have other friends that might come out and try to jump me. That person might not be able to take an L. All right, I might start a permanent beef. That's one of the reasons why I don't fight or try to fight or do anything like that at all. All right, is because nowadays you have a permanent beef. Okay, ops. All right, now it's all op culture. Say if someone goes up to my wife and says, "Damn, girl, you got a fat ass," and I say, "Hey, man, that's my girl. What are you gonna do about it?" And say he pushes me, right? And I say, "Hey, man, back the fuck up," and he swings on me, and I swing on him. All right, say I hit him right in his shit and dome his ass. He's knocked out, right? His buddies say, "Oh shit, what'd you do today? What'd you do today, wait a minute?" And now I gotta fight Lamar over here, all right? And here it is, I'm fighting fucking Lamar and TK. He wants to get in, all right? And JJ, he wants a piece of the action, all right? And here it is. I say theoretically, I even knock his 3 homeboys, right? Now what? Now they're all gonna be they all caught L's, all right? So now they're gonna want to catch a body because they caught these L's. So now they're gonna go and try to either reach in their waistband or try to go out and I got something for you. They're gonna try to get me some. And say this is the situation. It's a situation of perpetual violence and stupidity, right? Now, I'm not one who totes guns, but say if I was a person who totes guns, say one of them pulls out a gun and tries to shoot me, and I pull out a gun and shoots them. Well, now his mama and his brothers and his sisters and his grandmama and his uncles and his cousins, they're now all my ops, and they want my blood. They want to come and kill me because I protected myself against this ruthless fucking bloodthirsty ass dumbass thug that wanted to say something about make a sexual pass to my wife. All right, he wanted to be an adulterer, right? So now I got ops with his whole family, and not to mention that, now his friends, all right? And any of them that I had to shoot, all right, to defend myself or whatever in the situation. Like I said, I'm not one that totes guns, so this isn't a situation that would happen, Lord willing. And say, then, one of his homeboys, say I clip one of his homeboys, I got him in the leg. Now he's going to want blood. He's going to try to find me, and then his family and his homeboys are going to try to find... What's the fucking point, man? And that's the fucking problem with these ghetto-ass jakes these days. They just perpetuate a fucking cycle, man. Look, take the goddamn L, man. You got your ass whooped. All right, your homeboy robbed to fucking backdoor this guy, and he got fucking popped in his face. All right, he got his shit fucking twisted backwards and popped inside out. Yes, that shit fucking happened, bro. He got his brains blown out through his fucking ear holes. Yes, it fucking happened, bro. And he died right there on 3rd Street, and you ain't gonna do shit about it. Why? Because why? What, you're gonna get mad because he tried to fucking backdoor someone, and someone got his ass because they were trying to get his ass, and now you're gonna try to go get their ass because they protected their ass from getting got? Stupid, man. Stupid. It's ignorant. All right, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Our people are dumb. All right, dumb. They're stupid. All right, stupid. Our people are very, very dumb. They're very, very dumb. And we ain't all like that. We ain't all like that. And most people in the hood are like that. All right, the brothers and sisters in this truth are not. But outside of this truth, you're most likely. At least you have you might not be in the hood, but you still have the characteristics synonymous with the hood-like mentality. All right, because it's been baked into you, Jake. All right, it's stupid. If you don't have that, you have some level of wanting to have a get back or revenge, some stupid Jake corresponding behavior, right? And that's the type of shit that gets our people destroyed. That's the type of shit that gets families separated. That's the type of shit that breaks up friendships. That's the type of shit that gets you killed. That's the type of shit that keeps you in perpetual, never-ending conflict. Okay? Why would you want to be in a perpetual, never-ending conflict? Right? And that's something that the black community has a lot of. All right? It's in a lot of community as well. Black community has a lot of fighting. I mean, you got the mom hating the dad, with the dad hating the kids, with the kids hating the mom. All right, with the mom hating the way the grandma is because the grandma wants to raise the kids different and she don't like the baby daddy, so she don't want him around, but he don't like her. But it's and then the kids, they don't like each other. They got an issue with their dad. It's just, and then they got issue with the friends, and their friends have an issue with one of their friends, so they have it's just a perpetual cycle of animosity and strife. So, and that's a problem with our community, man. We gotta learn to let shit go. Okay? He's like, what do you mean we? All right, well, Benjamite. All right, Benjamite are part of the Southern Kingdom, so-called black. All right, it's just, that's just how it is, man. And it's a problem in our society, and I don't see it as much as with the Northern Kingdom, man. It's specifically us, all right, Southern Kingdom, right? Whether we look white, black, Hispanic, however we look, it doesn't really fucking matter at the end of the day, because it's who we are, all right? It's our tribe. It's what we go back to, all right? That's our lineage, all right? And, our skin colors might have gotten fucked up, all right? We might look like Arab. Hell, we might look like fucking Chinese people these days. But, the bloodline and the behaviors don't lie, man. And at the end of the day, our people are real fucked up. They're in a bad way. And that's another reason why the Lord's got to come back. But our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to live like that. All right? And not all of our people want to live like that. There's a lot of people, even like me, that just want to have a low-key life. They want to chill. They don't want to be involved in none of that shit. But a lot of our people live for that shit. All right, and I don't mean our people as in our actual people, as in the brothers and sisters in this truth. I'm talking about our people as a whole, as a nation. All right, and it's more specifically talking about Southern Kingdom, but Northern Kingdom as well. That some of our people, even Northern Kingdom, they want to just live in chaos. I don't even know why you'd want to live like that, and I think that's one of the reasons that they want to stay here. All right, they don't want to depart. All right, they want this to be their rest, because at the end of the day, they idealize chaos. They love chaos. It's fun for them for whatever fucking reason. I don't know. Chaos is not something that I'm a fan of. I could understand to a capacity like in the ghetto, but in some capacity, it depends on the ghetto. It depends on if you're in an impoverished area or if you're in a fucking bloodthirsty environment. I grew up in impoverished areas, so I understand the draw to the quote-unquote ghetto. You have people that grew up, you can talk with in those areas. Most of those people, it's Jake in those areas have it. Again, there's different levels of ghettos. All right, there's levels of ghetto. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ghettos. Level 1,000 ghettos. Ones you don't even want to fucking go in. Like back in the day, Memphis, you don't want to fucking go there. All right, and here it's getting better, but that's what they're saying. Certain parts of DC, certain parts of Dallas. Again, a lot of these places are quote unquote cleaning up. But back in the day, the Bronx, there was just areas that you were highly more likely to be a victim of a violent crime just by entering into for a fucking couple minutes, man. But there's other types of ghettos, and some of those ghettos are just like a little ran down there. For example, Maryland Parkway, in Vegas, that's one. Rainbow, any part down on Rainbow, really, that's one. There's little mini ones scattered, and then there's areas like Naked City that you just don't really probably want to go around at all, because a bunch of crackheads, and you don't know what's gonna fucking go down there at any given time. Again, Maryland Parkway is like, it's mid-level. That's mid-level. There's a lot of crazy shit that goes down there as well. But the people that you do talk to, in the stores down there, they're more reasonable. All right, they're not coming from an area of, and what I mean reasonable, I'm talking about worldly reasonable, because no Jakes are reasonable, especially not the ones that are deep in the ghetto culture. But what I'm saying is why I can see the draw is that these people are more humble. For the most part, they're not acting like certain of the more prestigious areas. Or in Vegas, Summerlin, there's a different vibe going on there. People are very, I'm above you. They have that going on, and I'm not a fan of that shit. I've never been a fan of that shit. That pride shit, I ain't a fan of it. Not to say that Ghetto Jake can't be prideful. But they're more focused on stupidity than they are pride at the time being. But it's just one of those things, man, where it's like I get it, but our people want to be trapped in a complete level of chaos. A medium ghetto is not enough for them. They want to be on O Block. That's I don't know what the draw is for that. I have no idea. I never grew up in a ghetto that was that hardcore. I don't know why people would want to stay around something that's level. I can see the impoverished area, the mid-level ghettos, because again, the people with the they have the same upbringing as you, all right, and that people really formulate relationships and friendships upon shared life experience, okay, because someone who's impoverished, it's very hard for them to be friends with someone who is very wealthy because they didn't live the same life. They don't know the same things. It's two completely different worlds, right? So it's just one of those things that, I've talked to people that didn't go, they don't know about standing in the food line, all right? They don't know about the ham lottery, all right? I always mention the ham lottery, the turkey lottery, all right, that you play at the food bank during the holidays. And what is the ham or the turkey lottery? It's hoping you get there in time for a turkey or a ham. All right, because those, back in the day, not now, because of course we don't eat that shit. But when I was a kid, the ham or the turkey lottery. Well, the turkey you can still have, but ham you can't. That was usually around Christmas time. You could potentially get a ham, and that's what you wanted to get during those times. Being that you were in the world, you didn't know about not eating pork. You wanted the ham because that was the signature thing, man. It's like the turkey, because if you didn't get that, you'd get a couple boxes of Hamburger Helper, some hot dogs, some ground beef, maybe some ground chicken, a couple boxes of cereal, shitloads of fucking canned goods, tons of fucking canned goods. Those boxes were heavy as shit. They'd mostly load you up on canned goods. I don't remember any spam, but it could have been potted meats, stuff like corned beef hash, lots of green beans, a lot of beans, a lot of rice, a lot of stuff like that. And then you get some vegetables, a lot of starches, potatoes, right? Stuff that keeps you full is what they would do. And then you usually get a gallon or two of milk, some peanut butter, right? If you've ever been in those food banks, that's what they give you. It depends on what you go to. Sometimes they have a pre-made box. Sometimes they have a little shop where it's not really a shop. You don't pay anything for it, but you can go around and grab some of the cans that you want. I've been to various different ones. I remember, growing up, I'm not trauma dumping because this isn't trauma to me because it was a good memory to me. I remember one time because it was harder to find the ones that would let you go and pick the stuff you needed. And then they would just moderate, making sure you're getting what you need and not taking. Yeah, I don't know. He had some limit somehow. And I remember one up front. They had those little snack packs of chips. The little to-go, the little mini singular serve size chips that you get in those packs of 28. The big boxes, but they were just not for individual resale, little tiny bags. And I got some Cheetos. I remember, man, that made my fucking day. I remember that shit. I was standing in that line. I don't remember too much about that day. I think there was a little bread area in front of it. And you could go and pick your bread. It was always Wonder Bread or some Sara Lee or some shit. Usually Wonder Bread. Because I remember it was in that fucking white bag. And that's the fucking food bank special. Because that shit's just sugar. If you ever looked on that shit, it's damn near dessert. All right. It's Wonder Bread. Horribly poisonous. But, I don't even think they make it like they used to make it. But, yep, I remember standing in that line. Hell, I remember going to the discount stores, right? Shit, now I'm just reminiscing. But I remember going to the discount store. I used to love those discount stores. You'd get, bread that was going out in 1 or 2 days. You'd be able to buy snacks that had gone out of date for, it had only been, maybe 2 or 3 days. But you get them for half price, Oreos, instead of being $2, you can get them for sometimes even down to a couple quarters, 50 cents, 75 cents sometimes. I remember I think we got a couple packs of Pop-Tarts for 75 cents a pop. That shit was, for a box, man. And those were delicacies back then because, growing up, not having a whole bunch of money, there wasn't a whole bunch of Pop-Tarts in the house. The brand name stuff I remember getting was usually my dad's stuff. He liked zebra cakes. During the holiday, they'd be those Christmas cakes. Shit, that's what I remember mostly. some packs of cosmic brownies, right? Shit like that. Again, those were my dad's. All right, those are my dad's usually. And, you know, when you work hard, my dad was the main one working. Of course, you want to have some snacks to yourself. So, but anyway, man, so I understand, you know, you want to talk to people. And that I can see the draw for that. But cycling back into it, I don't understand why you'd want to live in complete fucking chaos. A lot of our people just have a mental issue, man. They want to, you know, I don't know. They want to live in a it's fun to them to live in the most dangerous possible society that they could live in. Oh, man, I live somewhere where you can't even walk outside the house, man. Why would you want to live there? The fuck would you want to live somewhere you can't even walk outside the fucking house? You know, that's not a flex. You know, that's like me, oh, man, I live in an apartment complex where every time I walk out of my shit, this bitch down the hall comes up and she grabs my nuts and twists that shit. Then she punches me right in my nose and throws me down the stairs. Yep, I like living in a hard environment like that because everybody around me, they know I'm in the nut twisting building. They know I'm from the nut twisting block. All right, shit. I'm just starting to think you like your nuts getting twisted because, you know, people that are in those environments are always fighting, you know, and getting their ass kicked. I'm just starting to think some of them just like getting their ass kicked. So Proverbs 13:3, it says, he that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Ant Bible. The one who guards his mouth, thinking before he speaks, all right, protects his life. The one who opens his lips wide and chatters without thinking comes to ruin. Oh, what you gonna do, motherfucker? Do something, bitch. You ain't gonna do shit. Do it. Do it. Do it. Guy pulls out a gun. Blow it. You ain't gonna blow it. Blow it. Blow it, man. Blow it. Blow it. You ain't gonna blow it. You a pussy, man. You a pussy. You a bitch. You ain't gonna blow it. You ain't gonna blow that shit. You a pussy. You a bitch. Now, what are you trying? Are you trying to get shot? Are you actively trying to get shot? You're hoping to get shot? You're like, man, I hope this guy shoots me today. What, you know, because what's the point? You know, you're cruising for a reward that you don't want. Okay, that's like me not liking what's something I don't like on my food specifically. That's like okay, I want a ranch on a sandwich. Okay, like a not a burger but a sandwich. I wouldn't want that. That's like if someone had a bottle of ranch, I'm like, pour it on my sandwich. Pour it on my sandwich. Yeah, pour it on my sandwich. Pour it on. You won't pour it on my sandwich. You ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna shoot. You ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna pour that on it. You ain't gonna pour that on it. What am I looking for? Am I trying to get ranch poured on my sandwich? Because I don't want ranch poured on my sandwich. So why would I antagonize someone to pour ranch on my sandwich? That's the thing that I don't want. I don't want ranch on my fucking sandwich. So if you don't want to get shot, why are you gonna antagonize someone and egg them on to shoot you? I'm starting to think some of these people like being shot. Some of these people like getting their ass kicked. Come on, man. You gonna kick my ass? Kick my ass then. Kick my ass then. Come on. Kick my ass then. Come on. Kick my ass. You ain't gonna do it. You won't do it. Kick my ass then, huh? You want to get your ass kicked. You want to get shot. That's what you're begging. You're begging for it. All right? You're begging for it. You know? So I'm assuming that you must like getting your ass kicked and shot. That's the only thing I can assume. So, yeah, man. So, you know, sometimes you just need to learn to just shut the fuck up. Okay? And think, like it says in the Ant Bible, think before you speak. Okay? And don't let, like the lesson says, don't let that mouth write that check that your ass can't cash. You know? Oh, what you gonna do, motherfucker? You ain't gonna do shit. Talking to this guy that's way bigger than you. He's known on the block to be able to fight. And here it is. You're known on the block to lose fights. All right? And you're 2'3". You know? What the fuck are you gonna do? All right? To kick my ass Jackson over there. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do what? Come on, kick my ass. Kick my ass. Kick my ass, Jackson. You ain't gonna do it. You never live up to your name. You ain't never kicked that one ass. All right? Hell, your mama kicked more ass than you kick your ass. And then you get little, well, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. I know your name's Kick My Ass Jackson, but you didn't have to kick my ass, Jackson. Stupid. Why would you go barking up that tree, all right, not wanting the outcome that comes from, I don't know. Anyway, I can't put myself in that mindset. I don't fucking know. I don't know you want to do that. I don't want to get shot, so I don't go around begging people to shoot me. I thought that was common knowledge, you know. I mean, at this point, these guys might as well go, hey, you got a gun on you? Can you shoot me with it? Please? I've been wanting to get shot. I've been trying to get shot lately. I've been telling everybody to shoot me, and they just haven't been listening. If you got a gun, you can try it out. Right on me, man. Come on, go ahead. Shoot me in my leg. Stupid. Proverbs 21 and 23, it says, whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. There you go. Very similar to Proverbs 13 and 3. So, Ant Bible, he who guards his mouth and his tongue guards himself from troubles. So, if you don't want trouble, watch your mouth. Okay? Let's get Proverbs 18 and 6 through 7. It says, a fool's lips enter into contention. There you go. It said, contentious. That's really contention or contention. It can be, fighting or arguing, all right, as well. It says a fool's lips enter into contention. Usually most of the time it's argument, like a contentious woman, an argument of the woman, right? So a lot of the time it's fighting and, talking shit, all right? Arguing constantly. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. Fight. It says, a fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. So they're holding you back. They're getting you messed up. All right, and they're your destruction. So let's get the NLT. We'll get it in all these translations for this one. It says NLT: fools' words get them into constant quarrels, fights. Right, fights. Fools' words get them into constant fights. All right, or drama. It says they are asking for a beating. I love that one. They're asking for a beating. You're asking for a beating. You're asking for a beating. It says, the mouths of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. So, there you go. NRSVU, a fool's lips bring strife, and a fool's mouth invites a flogging. I like that. The mouth of fools are their ruin, and their lips a snare to themselves. And then finally, the Ant Bible, a fool's lips bring contention and strife, and his mouth invites a beating. I love that. It says a fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his soul. His mouth invites a beating. A lot of you guys, not you brothers and sisters, but you out in the world, coming on these comment boards, you're trying to invite a beating. You're not carnal, all right? That's the thing. You take us as bitches, you take us as fools, as weaks, or whatever. We're just not carnal individuals, all right? We're just not carnal individuals. But if you try to attack us, all right, we will get you with the flesh. That's the thing. All right? We won't kill you, but we'll defend ourselves. We'll defend ourselves. I mean, if we had to, we'll defend ourselves up into death. You're not gonna be like, oh, you got a knife. Well, I'm just gonna sit here and let you stab me then. No, I mean, if we had to get in a situation like that, we pray to Yahweh Shemi Ashar. We're never in a situation like that. But if someone broke in our house was trying to kill us, yeah, I mean, we could do that. But we don't go around purposely looking for issues. We're not purposely looking for fights. We're not purposely looking for sword battles or gun shootouts like we're fucking Marty Robbins or, one of the old outlaws. All right. We're not looking, we're not trying to be Quick Draw McGraw. All right. We're not trying to be fucking Johnny Cash, Don't take your guns to town, boy. Leave your guns at home. We're not trying to be like that. All right, we'll defend ourselves up into death, and if we have to, Lord willing, we never have to do that, and our families as well. We're not just, we're not that's that. I just want to say that because these Christians, you can never fight. You're not allowed to fight. You can't defend yourself. Look, if you have to defend yourself unto death and that person dies, I mean, yeah, no, of course, you're not just like, oh yeah, I wanted to kill. But I mean, you got to defend yourself and you got to defend your family as well, within reasonable limits and not being the aggressor in that situation. Again, all these scriptures we're reading, it's not being an aggressor. You got to watch your words carefully. You can't watch the other person's words. You can only watch your words. You can't stop them from saying what they're going to say. You really only have the illusion of stopping yourself from what you're going to say. Instead of, you'll have those thoughts, and the Lord will stop, he'll give you an opportunity, the illusion of free choice of, am I going to go back there and start this shit up? Am I going to go stoke a fire? Say something, you're walking somewhere, so it says, excuse you, you have the ability to keep on walking, or you have the ability to say, excuse you. No, watch where you're going, little Miss Fat Ass. All right, maybe if you kept off those fucking donuts, you wouldn't have to say excuse me because your big ass be able to fit into a fucking aisle. All right, over here looking like you need fucking 2 plane tickets, looking ass bitch. All right, over here making Precious look skinny, looking ass bitch. All right, you could say that. You could go over there and say that, and you could take all the repercussions from that situation, or you could just shut up. All right, not quarrel. And just keep on keeping on. All right, and that's the best thing to do. So let's get Proverbs 15:1. And a lot of these, every single one of them except the last one, Sirach 19:6, has been in Proverbs, man. Proverbs 15:1. It says, oops, why did I double type it? Proverbs 15:1. Put a space in there. Might not work. Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Simple. Amplified Bible, let's see if it makes any simpler. It says a soft and gentle, thoughtful answer turns away wrath. Harsh and painful and careless words stir up anger. So that's the thing, if you already have a guy that's, you can tell that, for example, these roid rage ass motherfuckers, these guys that come in, they have an ego, right? Just be careful with the words, man. You already know they're all fucking being an asshole. You already know they're being an asshole. So what can you do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. You can just, give them a soft and gentle answer. And, pray to the Lord. Excuse me. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. It says, but harsh and painful words and careless words stir up anger. You're stirring the pot. All right? You're turning up the heat. And this day and age, when you turn up the heat, people just pull out guns, man. So, you gotta be real careful out there. You gotta be praying before you leave the house. You gotta be, like I said, if someone's arguing, there's a lot of times where I had guys had beef with me at my old job. And I don't know necessarily what it was because I remember just praying in my head. There was one guy, he was just all the guys were mentally ill. There was one guy, I remember, it was me and my buddy Pedro at the time, and it was football season. We were talking about football, or was it football season? It was football season. And, let me move this mic. It was football season, and we had a TV, all right, up where we were positioned at, and so we could always see the game, and it was on. I can't remember who was playing. Some dog shit team that we like to make fun of, or making fun of my other buddy Jason. He was kind of slow, but we were friends with him because he liked football, and he was a nice guy, just because he was slow. I mean, he was an Edomite, but he was a nice guy. He's a sweet guy. Give you the shirt off his back if he could. Very nice, very down to earth guy. Haven't met anybody that didn't like him other than that was just an asshole. And like I said, the guy's a little bit slow, but he loved sports, man. Loved sports. So we talked to you, and we always pick on him about he pick on us for our teams, we pick on him for our, just being fun. And oh yeah, because he was a Raiders fan. Oh yeah, fucking Raiders. Half your team members are in prison, man. They usually have that. He'd be like, oh yeah, because I'm a Chiefs fan, or moderately. I don't keep up with football as much as when I was with them, but I have a Chiefs jersey, a Chiefs hat, and all that stuff. So that I barely wear. But the jersey was a gift. So it was a gift by actually a lady that was frequented that job, and she said, "What size do you wear?" So I wear this size. She said, "Okay." She said, "Here you go." It was right around Christmas time. I don't know why she asked me it. I assumed she was like, she was just looking at me. She said, "What size shirt do you wear?" I said, "Oh, so and so." She said, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Why?" And she said, I'm gonna bring you something." I said, "Oh, okay." And then she wrote it. She's like, "Merry Christmas." I was like, "Hell, all right, well." thank you anyway. And I said, well, I didn't say thank you anyway. I said, I said thank you. I appreciate you. This is awesome, because I didn't know jerseys are expensive, man. They're expensive shit. All right, even if you get the repros, all right, off of Etsy and shit, they're still $40 and $50 to spend on a random person, that you talk to at, a store you frequent, but she's sweetheart, older lady, and yeah, man. But anyway, we're standing rambling, and we're standing there. We could have been talking about anything. I think we were bullshitting. There was another guy that came up. He liked talking about football as well. He's an older Edomite guy. He ran a bar. Kind of looked like Dolph Lundgren. Is that what his name is? Kind of looked like Dolph Lundgren. Had white hair. Kind of looked like him in this photo. Alright, kind of looked like him like that. Kind of looked like Dolph Lundgren. And we're standing there talking. And this guy, we've talked to this guy before. And heavier set guy, younger, maybe mid-20s, maybe 30s, early. Long hair, heavier set. And mostly normal, fine. He's with his dad, and he starts going over and kicking the shit out of our trash can. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Me and my buddy, Pedro, I look at him and say, what the fuck's going on, dude? So we know the guy. I don't know, man. I have no idea. And I said, well, I don't know. Then he starts like banging his hand on the wall. I said, I don't know. The guy looked like he was in a state of mental anguish. And we assumed like maybe he found out, maybe he got a call that, one of his family members died or something, or someone that close to him died or something like that. But he just started getting weird. He started like, we were talking, he was over way in the distance, and he sees us talking to this guy, but this guy is, we come to find out, he's basically mental, and he decided to stop taking his pills, and his dad was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, you might have to call the police on him, because he didn't want to take his pills, and he's, completely fucking losing it, he's going crazy. But he comes up to us and he's like, "You guys, what we?" Because we're taking the piss out of English phrase. We're joking about different teams. It's me, Pedro, Dolph Lundgren looking guy, and we're all laughing about football and making jokes about football, and I'm bagging on my buddy Pedro because he's a Cowboys fan. Like, oh yeah, fucking Cowboys, man. When's the last time you went to a Super Bowl? He's like, oh, when's the last time you didn't fucking cheat to get into one? We're bagging on each other. We're laughing, talking with the other guy. I can't remember what he was. For some reason, I feel Seahawks. I don't know if that's right, but for some reason that feels right. The guy comes up. He's something funny. Something funny? You like to laugh at me? You want to laugh at me? And we're like, what? What's going on, dude? And he's like, yeah, you're laughing at me. And we could have been like, hey, no, we're not laughing at you, motherfucker. But, I handled it. See, Pedro was ex-military. He didn't take shit like that. So I said, buddy, we're not laughing at you, man. We know you, right? We're not laughing at you. So we're just laughing about football, man. And he was like, huh? And he went back on the floor, started doing it again. We got en route to call the cops because this guy was causing a disturbance in the store. Started, making some of the customers in there worried, was banging on the walls and shit, doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. But ultimately, that guy never ended up fucking come back. I never seen his ass again. But probably after that was embarrassed as shit. But yeah, so handled that. Now, Pedro was a little bit more military prone, so the guy came back the next time. He said, "You have a fucking." I think he was like, he didn't say fucking, but he's like, "You want a problem?" And he had these eyes. He's like, "You need to go away or something." I don't know, but he looked like he was meaning business. So that guy would have kept fucking around. He was just a smaller little Mexican guy, but I could tell in his eyes, he was like, "I'm gonna fuck this guy up if he keeps on coming over here." But yeah, man, it's just like, it's one of those things where I've had that situation where we kept, but even Pedro in his state, kept it mostly calm, and we're like, hey man, look, we don't want any issues. We don't even want to call Metro. We gave the guy so many chances because we didn't want to call Metro on the guy because, one, we knew he was going through some type of mental health crisis. Two, we knew the guy. He talked about football with us before he went off the deep end, stopped taking his pills. And we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to have to do that. And then the police report. And then, oh my God, I have to sit here and talk to police. Then, I don't think I was a manager at that level at that time. Still, I got to do an incident report. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do any of that, man. So we're trying to get this guy out of the store and calm him down. And, using that Proverbs 15:1. Maybe not Pedro because, again, he wasn't a godly man. Wasn't into religion. But, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. And I think also during that whole time I was praying, like, Lord, please let this guy leave. Please let this guy leave. And they had another guy who was, starting issues and was ultimately able to calm him down just by, not matching his energy. It's very hard to be mad with someone who's very calm and very cheerful. It fucks up their whole vibe, man. It fucks up their whole vibe. There we go. It says, Ecclesiasticus 19:6, and this is where we're closing out. It says, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife. It's those fights, that bitter disagreement, right? Back and forth, snapping at people's necks, constantly living in, fear of a fight, all right? Strife. Matter of fact, let's just get what strife is. Angry, bitter, violent conflict, all right, disagreement. So, he that can rule his tongue, control of his tongue, has control over his tongue, shall live without strife. He that hateth babbling shall have less evil. Babbling, right in your mouth, okay? And this could go a bunch of different ways. Talking shit, all right, spreading rumors, or also just babbling and, talking shit you shouldn't be. So, that's the lesson. Don't let that mouth write that check. And you shouldn't do it. Should not do it. Should not let your mouth cash that check. You just need to calm down and chill. And just write it out, man. These people go away. Sometimes they like to stay around and hang around. But what can you do, man? So, as we're going to close out, Lord, what was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakbadash. Shalom to brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Till next one, Lord willing. Shalom.